It's a self-motivated position. And I told everybody, you're not gonna get praise every day.
Even though we're still part of CBP, we're just a smaller group. We're more tight-knit. You build friendships, you know, the camaraderie. We're always there to lend a helping hand with each other.
This small group is considered an elite team. They have got every little bit of experience from other officers or their experience and molded it together to become, you know, this super officer.
We are a vital asset to CBP. There's no better feeling than that dog giving you the alert and there being a positive response to that seizure.
Whatever you put into your dog, that's what you're gonna get out of it. As soon as you get to work and you see that dog waiting for you, your mood changes right away. If you're having fun, your partner's gonna have fun.
Your praise is this relationship, the bond. And when you get a load, you know, hey, that was a direct product of my hard work every day, that you come out here and you give it your 100%.
You just see other officers or other canine officers, but you don't know anything about them. A lot of people, they see us just standing there with the dog. And, you know, I put myself in their shoes when I was, you know, seeing them. Hey, I could do that. Yeah, look, he's just standing there with the dog. But they don't know what happens behind the scenes. They don't know the work and the dedication that it takes for you to help, you know, to put that time and effort to bond with that dog. Because if there's no bond, there's no team.
There's a saying that we have here in the canyon that flows up and down leash. You know, you as a handler, if you're having a bad day, then your feelings will travel down and the dog is gonna notice that and he's gonna have a bad day. Or if the dog's having a bad day and you're ready to go and then the dog, his emotions will ride up leash and you're gonna start to have a bad day. So, I mean, if you just continue to have, like, you know, that positive attitude, you know, then hopefully the dog will pick up on it.
An awesome day obviously is those days where he's dead on. You know, you run a car, you run a person, and he alerts and says, hey, you know what? There's something here, Dad. An even better day is when the officers say, hey, you know what? I think this car's good, but you trust your dog so much that you personally go and check that vehicle or that person, and they in fact do have bulk catching in their person or in a vehicle or in a luggage.
Yeah, keep moving, thank you.
The dog doesn't care, doesn't see anything. All he's doing is looking for the toy, the narcotics. He doesn't care if it's grandma, grandpa, a child, he doesn't care. He's looking for the drug. So a lot of times we get in the way of the dog. At times we become a hindrance. Trust your dog. Let him do what he does, read your dog, call the alert and pay him. There's no substitute for a canine. The nose is incredible.
They get right in the nose. That's perfect.
It's good to have technology and all that stuff, but I think overall canine is gonna be the most important thing. When you wanna facilitate travel, cargo, and trade, and put in an enforcement asset to that inspection.
It feels good to be part of a growing legacy, a growing foundation. You know, as time evolved, and that's another thing that I like about how the program is going, is that we're evolving every day.
This isn't something that you sat down and thought about and you ended up having this idea and it was the perfect thing. It was something that would develop on a day-to-day basis. You know, we started out with basic obedience and getting used to a dog that we didn't know, getting used to a dog that was trained to bite everybody else, including us.
There's no doubt in my mind you can make a career of the dog program. I mean, 33 years and I was in the dog program the whole time.
When you get out in the field, it's not going to be like that.
It's a matter of mindset. My goal was always to do the best thing you could do for the dog program. You know, and that's what's made the program last for 50 years, is you adapt.
We started out with retrieving with a tennis ball. Well, that worked really well for retrieve because the dog liked that ball when it bounced and it went in a different direction and he chased it. It was okay to take that ball and leave it in the marijuana locker overnight and it smelled like marijuana the next day. But the second exercise, it smells like marijuana and slobber. And you wash the darn things, they don't retain the odor as well as they should. All of those search techniques that are mentioned in the manual were developed because of on-site stuff. We didn't sit behind a desk and know what to do. You know, we had to experience all the hardships out there in the field.
You know, I enjoyed passing what I learned and what other people learned to the new officers that were coming in. Because when I went out to the field in El Paso, I didn't know anything. Number one, zero about customs. Number two, the dog that I had, I'd never trained, right? So I had to learn in the regular work environment on that dog. And so I wanted students, officers coming out of training, to have a little bit more knowledge than I had. And so that was my motivating factor with coming back as an instructor, was to teach them some of the mistakes that I had made so that they didn't have to make those same mistakes. You know, and it's because it's interesting. I spent 4 years in the Air Force and Sentry Dog, never got bit. Didn't get bit till I come to Customs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember the first procurement trip in Michigan?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where I got bit in the face?
Right in the face.
Yeah.
Well, that was your fault. You got right down there in that dog's level.
That's true.
And you thought he...
It was my fault.
You thought...
The dog was licking my hand. What can I say?
He's trying to finesse this person out of his dogs, right? So he gets right down there and shows him how nice this dog's going to really have it nice, you know, if he comes along with me, right? That dog nailed him right in the face, and in the hospital he went.
Yeah. And the lady says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, he bites."
That's Albert, 03M4, tattooed on his left ear.
That's what made him famous.
That's it.
That's the dog made him famous.
I could have been blind and still made it with that dog.
Now here's it. It says right here, Gene McKeithron, program manager, keeps a framed picture of his last dog he worked, Albert, and that was July 25th, 1971. You see how he looks. Okay, well in this article it says, ramrod straight with thinning black hair and a bristly looking mustache. McKeithron is a super sensitive to any fancy sight of a dog or a program. Woo! Woo! Holy mackerel.
Who wrote that up?
We moved everything ourselves. There was no moving vans. We made our own dog trailers. Mm-hmm. We bought dog trailers in just south of San Antonio, flatbeds.
Yeah.
We screwed dog crates on them, built wooden tops on these dog trailers. And so when we moved everything. We packed them up in vans, took our dog trailers, and moved up here to Front Royal.
Each person involved with the development of this program brought something with them, some knowledge and some experience that caused us to change what we were doing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that when the program started that we sat down and decided this is how we're going to do this. What are we going to do tomorrow?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Okay, we had this problem today and we're going to have to overcome that and make a little improvement tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But you didn't know really how that connected to the end product, you know? You knew what you were trying to achieve, but you're trying to get this dog away from what he wanted to do to get him to what we wanted to do, you know?
Exactly.
Was a process that everybody contributed to. They don't realize that
yes.
At the end of that week, when we got together, that the subject matter was always dogs.
Yep.
Right?
Always.
You solved more problems that afternoon over a couple of beers and things that somebody else did and overcame that particular problem.
Exactly.
And then you could start watching for that in the next dog you're training. And if that started to develop there, you already had an idea which way to go. Well, that exchange of information, it was invaluable.
Yep. I mentioned 33 years in customs. There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't want to go to work. Not a day. Now there were some bad days, bad days, but there wasn't a day that I got up and said, I don't want to go to work. And you can't say that about a lot of programs and a lot of occupations.
Yeah, that's right.
That over the years you can look back and say, yeah, I had fun. I did. I enjoyed that job, and you accomplished something. So I think you can tell by some of the things that I've said that the man has got me through 33 years, and I thank you for that, sir. I thank you for helping me out and hiring me on and supporting me all the time.
former handlers and former, managers, Canine is something that's in your heart. And nowhere in the position of CBP is your heart going to be so more invested than is being a canine handler. You can always see it in their eyes. The eyes are so telling. They miss it.
I think that, the sky's the limit because, these dogs, they're only as good as you train them.
The competitiveness is there, and I think overall everybody's like, hey, Torres is here working, let's go out there and find a load. Like, they're pumped up to come out to work, and that's what I enjoy the most.
Well, the fact that I've been a handler for almost 23 years, almost half of the existence of the program, makes me feel really proud. When you put on the canine pin, there's nothing like it, nothing.
And many people have asked me, don't you want to do this? Don't you want to do that? And I'm like, no, my heart is still here. And I want to keep my heart here as long as possible because I know once I leave, I'm going to miss it every day of my life.